Hello, my friends, and welcome to part 2 of my conversation with Tolkien family member Timothy Tolkien. And if you haven't seen part 1, I will leave a link to it in the description below. And for those of you who don't know, Timothy Tolkien is a 4th generational relative of the Tolkien family, and it's quite interesting to see the perspective of the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series from the view of a Tolkien family member. So that's what we're going to be looking at in today's video, and we're going to be leaving from when we left off in the last episode. So as again, please check the last and part 1 of this conversation if you haven't already, but please like, subscribe, and let's get into the conversation. I totally agree, and I believe last year Lord of the Rings on Prime, the TV show, actually produced a video and showed that the Tolkien illustrator from the Lord of the Rings film trilogies, John Howe, is involved with the illustrations and the drawings of the show, and that also Thomas Shippey, the Tolkien lore master from the Lord of the Rings and the Tolkien expert, he is also on in the crew as well, which seemed at the time really positive. But then recently, in the last few months, I think about 5-6 months ago, it was reported that both these members of the crew, the most important members, the ones fans are most excited about, Thomas Shippey and John Howe, are no longer involved. What are your opinions on this?
Well, I think if those rumours are true, then it would be quite sad, really, since they did such great work on the Lord of the Rings films. And they are key members, and if anybody knows anything of Lord of the Rings and the design of Lord of the Rings and how it all works, it is those two definitely are the top two people to have. So hopefully the rumours are false. But if they're not, then just wait and see what happens and how Amazon take on the challenge without them. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's true. And also, would you like it if Amazon took a completely new and fresh approach and decided to use brand new costumes, brand new scenery? Well, no, you can't have brand new scenery, but shoot in new places, have a brand new design and feel to Middle Earth, which is really separate from the film trilogy. Would you prefer that, or for them to have quite a bit of continuity with the films and still maybe reference films but have the same maybe Numenorian architecture that we saw, for example, with Barad-dûr, because that was actually built by the Numenorians, so see the same Numenorian architecture as well. So overall, just maybe even the elves and how they, because there wasn't much change between the elves between the second and third age, so how their costumes are as well, and just the whole feel of Middle Earth to be the same.
I think a new design wouldn't be a bad, as long as it is similar to the original Lord of the Rings design. Because if it's a brand new design and there's nothing to do with the old design and is not related to that same, so if it's not related to the elves of the third age, then it doesn't really make any sense. But if it's a new design and there's elements sort of, so you can sort of see a transition between the second and third age, and the elves and the dwarves and men, I think that would be quite interesting. Because I think they do need a new design. Because the second age was obviously different to the third age, but keep it in relation to the third age, so you can see a clear hint at the third age approaching.
Yes, and there is quite a split opinion in the fan base in the moment about whether they should completely start brand new, have a new fresh Middle Earth, or maybe cling on to the Howard Jackson vision Middle Earth and continue from there. So yeah, that is a quite an interesting debate. But now, while we continue, I'm just wondering, because, say for example, we're fans of Tolkien, love Tolkien, and say if the Amazon treats the show poorly and the first season's bad, not maybe just because of the story, but how they treated Tolkien's works, would you be even more angry because this is your family work, as you can be directly linked back to the professor, and it also must mean that you must have some pride about like Tolkien's works and Lord of the Rings, because that is basically your works, even though it's your extended family, your family story. So wouldn't you be a bit annoyed, even more annoyed maybe than the average person like me? Because of course I'm a Tolkien fan, but I'm not related to Tolkien. So maybe do you think you'd have a more enhanced?
I wouldn't say I'd be more annoyed, just a bit more disappointed that they didn't maintain a standard because of his work, such important work in science fiction and fantasy. So it did spark all the future fantasy writers like J.K. Rowling or R.R. Martin. So I would be more disappointed than annoyed, because there is a level of, there's an expectation to do it well and to do justice to the story. But you would think with the amount of money they're putting into it, they would reach that level of expectation from not just the fans, but the family and the whole Tolkien community in general.
Yep. And I know so far we've been talking about lots of different parts of the show, such as the continuity of it, your initial opinions on the rights, for example, etc. So I just want to know overall your expectations and your opinion of the show as a whole. So as a whole, going into it next year, probably between September and December time when it is released, what your opinions and hopes for the show are.
My current opinion of the show, before seeing it, because it's obviously not been released, is that it has a lot of potential, especially with new up-and-coming actors. It will give them a good chance to delve into the history of Lord of the Rings and also explore the characters in a new way. And expectations? I am expecting to be pleasantly surprised. Hopefully. I'll have to wait and see, but I think if they stay true to the work, to the original work, and in costume wise and set wise, they don't go too mad on CGI and stay true, I think it could be the new trend. It's a bit like the same impact The Mandalorian has had for Star Wars. I think it could also possibly positively impact the fan base, a bit like The Mandalorian has done for Star Wars. So it will bring in a lot of new fans to the works of Lord of the Rings, so they can start with the series, go into the films, go into the books, which is always good. So it does have that potential, which if they do it well, I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, and I especially agree with your point about the fact that there are so many new actors, or well, not new actors and actresses, but ones that aren't as popular or A-list actors. So it's interesting to see how they take up the mantle of the Lord of the Rings, and we hope to see if they have the same cast, friendship, and union like the cast did on the Lord of the Rings as well. And we're coming near the end now. So one of the last questions I want to ask you is that how has Professor Tolkien impacted you as a person due to the fact that you are part of his family?
He has definitely impacted me in a positive way since being Tolkien, but not even if I weren't Tolkien and just a fan, it would still be a positive impact. Because the thing I've taken most from Lord of the Rings, especially Lord of the Rings, is the love of nature and friendship, which is important.
Tolkien really did admire nature, and we can see this not just through the Lord of the Rings, but through all his works as well. So yeah, it's one of the big factors for a lot of people is seeing nature in Tolkien's works. But that's it for today's video, and I want to thank Timothy for coming on.
And thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to be on as soon as you'll have me again.
Of course, I would love to have you on again, because I've always wanted to talk to someone from Professor Tolkien's family, and even if you're not even that far related from him as well, which is a great thing. And of course, you can come back on whenever you want. Maybe we'll do some more videos in the future. But thank you guys for watching. Again, thank you for coming on, Timothy Tolkien. I really appreciate it, and for your time as well. And now to the audience, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. But until the next video, my friends, goodbye.